What's going on, guys? Zach Williams here with Conversionly, and today we're going to show you exactly how you can place your product ads in front of people looking for what you're selling. Now, if you're just like any of the other 2.8 billion people that are using Facebook, at some point in time, I'm sure you've been searching on the internet at products that you enjoy. For me, that product is golf clubs. And then about 10 minutes later, after you're looking at those products, you or someone else connected to your Wi-Fi begins seeing golf clubs. It's funny how that works, right? Today, we're going to show you exactly how you can do the same thing and place your products in front of consumers that have engaged with your business in some format and get them back on your page so you can sell them your service or product. Let's take a minute here, click the like button and subscribe down below, and then let's dive into the computer and see exactly how to do this. So to build the perfect retargeting campaign, what we need to do first is actually get our Facebook pixel and make sure it's installed on our website. For those of you that have already done this, go ahead and skip past this point. But for those that have not installed the pixel yet, the first place you need to go once you're inside your business manager account is go to Events Manager. Once you're inside Events Manager, you're going to be able to connect a data source. And this will give you the ability to choose an option. Typically, you're going to want to select web. As you can see here, you can only create one pixel per account. I've already created mine. However, yours will not be grayed out if you do not have a pixel. If you do have a pixel, what you can do is go down here to this Add Events tab and click From a New Website, and you can install code manually by copying the code and pasting it in the head portion of your website. Or you could use a partner integration. If you have a Squarespace website, Shopify, WordPress, etc., there is a plugin that you can connect Facebook directly to that, and then it will give you your actual code. So let's say, for example, we have a Shopify store. This will show you how to do that. All right, so now that you have your pixel installed, the next place that we want to go is audiences. After all, the way that retargeting campaigns are set up is you build a campaign on Facebook that retargets a specific set of customers, okay? So for that, we have the option to create custom audiences. And when you click on that tab, we have a bunch of options here, but ultimately we want to use audiences that have engaged on our website. So we're gonna select website, and this is going to give us the ability to retarget based on a few different parameters. So the first thing to note here is, based off this drop down, people that you're including in this audience have to match any of these rules or all of these rules. So make sure you make that distinction early on when you're creating your different connections. So with that said, we want to retarget people who visited specific web pages on our website. Now, if you run an e-commerce store such as Shopify or WooCommerce, then you may have a range of products that you're selling to your consumers. If you run a lead generation or a service-based business where you're typically focusing on human interaction and selling a service to those people, you probably have a lead funnel or something thereof the matter. So what we want to do is retarget people that engage with those pages. For us specifically, we provide a service. So we're retargeting leads that have signed up for something. So at this point, we want to retarget consumers or traffic that is engaged with our business in the last 7 days, and they have been to a page on our website with MQL in the URL. What that is specifically saying is we have a URL path that identifies marketing qualified leads. So after we've generated a lead, we then send them to a page that has MQL somewhere in the URL. That way we can identify those audiences and retarget them. The same thing is included for SQL and booked appointments, okay? So what we want to do here is build a retargeting audience specifically for our marketing qualified leads. These are people that have signed up for one of our free courses, which if you want access to those free courses, feel free to click the link in the description. With that said, we also have SQLs and appointments. However, we don't want to retarget those people because our objective is for this audience is to move a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead. So what we're going to do is actually exclude people, okay? These people have visited either the SQL page or the appointment tracker page, okay? All of our URLs have specific URL paths because it makes it super easy for us to continuously put out new content, yet keep our audiences populated so we can retarget them in the future. Now, as you noticed here, I created 2 steps. I want to include this audience and exclude this audience, okay? Here, we're going to set this to the max range. If anybody has been to these 2 stages, they've already engaged with our business, okay? And they're already qualified, so we have a different campaign for those people. For the MQLs, we want the people in the last 7 days, and what we're going to actually do is do quick fire ads to them to get them onto our VSL page and then retarget them with ads that are going to help make the progression from MQL to SQL. But we have this little tick box up here, or drop down box, excuse me, that has any and all. So we need this audience to match all of these parameters because we don't want the SQLs or booked appointments included in this MQL audience, okay? Then after we're done, all we need to do is create MQL audience. Name it that, and you can name this however you want. You can even add a description if you want to make a dictation that lets you know in the future what this audience represents. And don't worry, if you make a mistake here, you can always come back and edit this audience. So we're going to create that audience and click done. Okay, one thing to note here as we begin to proceed is we want to make sure that we're optimizing our campaign to get that conversion. So we are going to create a conversion campaign. The next step in this process is to actually identify what that conversion is. So over here in the menu, we're going to go back to Events Manager. Then as you see on the left-hand side, there's this little circle with a star. We're going to click on that, and that gives us the ability to create custom conversions. One thing to note before we go in and create these custom conversions, make sure you know exactly what you're creating, because after you create a custom conversion, you will no longer be able to go back and edit that conversion. So with that said, we're going to click this blue button to create a custom conversion. So here is where we're going to identify sales qualified leads, okay? Or we could just do that SQLs, and everyone that has filled out the application. All right. Now with that, we want to make sure the URL contains SQL because, like I just said in the audiences, our conversions and audiences are tracked with parameters in our URL path. So if an MQL goes to our VSL, which if you don't know what VSL stands for, video sales letter, sorry, I'm dropping a bunch of abbreviations here, I apologize. But with that said, an MQL goes to our video sales letter and they fill out our application. Once they fill out that application, they're then redirected to a page called SQL, okay? If, for instance, you run an e-commerce store, then in your case, you may have checkout or checkout initiated. In those cases, Facebook actually has standard conversions that you can utilize. With that said, we want to create a conversion value for SQLs at $250. We're going to use that conversion value because that's going to give a basis for Facebook to say, hey, we want to make sure we're getting these conversions under the conversion value. Otherwise, this is not a profitable campaign for us. So Facebook will optimize the campaign accordingly. With that said, this already exists. Nonetheless, let's change this to SQL. Actually, forget it. We already created the conversion. It's already in here. You saw how I did it. Now we're going to go and create the actual ads. So what we're going to do is go to Ads Manager. Once you're in Ads Manager, then we can go ahead and click this green button to create a new campaign. Probably if you're watching this video, you've already created some Facebook campaigns, so I'm not going to go through and explain the different campaign types. However, what you're going to want to select if you're doing a service base and you're trying to convert leads, select conversions. If you are doing an e-commerce brand, you're still probably going to want to select conversions. Okay, so we will select a conversion campaign and we will name this MQL, retargeting MQL, fill application campaign. That's what we're going to name this. Okay, and our ad set is going to be MQLs. And the first ad, MQL ad copy number 1. Okay, you don't have to fill out all that information. You can do it through each step. I'm just doing it here because we're going to try to set this up quickly. Now, in this stage right here, we've created the campaign. We can click this little 4 squares MQLs tab right here. And this is your ad set. In your ad set, that's where you identify the audience that you're going to target with these ads. You can have as many ad sets as you want, but in our case specifically, what we're going to do is retarget the marketing qualified leads. So here, we'll go down, we'll select our pixel, and then we'll select our conversion event. We can type it in here to make that faster, and we will select SQLs. All right. Next, we want to set our budget. I'm just going to leave this at 20 because this is for illustration purposes. But we're going to want to select our audience. And in here, we have custom audiences. We just created our custom audience for MQLs. So we're going to select the MQL audience as the audience we're targeting for this campaign. Then we can adjust these parameters if there's only specific match types that this traffic actually has to be qualified for a sale. However, in our case, anyone that is an MQL can become an SQL. We don't sell to only people that are between the ages of 20 and 35. We're not going to cut out this audience, okay? Next, you can choose your placements for illustration purposes. We're going to avoid that. But if you want to find out more information on this, just Google placements options for Facebook ads. Next, we'll hit the next button, and then we'll select our Facebook pages, and then everything from that point forward is setting up an ad like you conventionally would. All right, guys, so that is how we build the perfect retargeting campaign. Now, as you can see there, it's not too difficult to set up a retargeting campaign on Facebook. Just remember, there's 3 main components that we need. We need to set up a custom audience utilizing URL paths from our website that the consumer is engaging with. Then next, we need to make sure we have a conversion campaign set up utilizing a custom conversion. Lastly, you can target different audiences, but you must make sure you select the audience that you built in the custom audience setup. Now, with that said, my recommendation, if you run a service-based business, is to make sure you have an appointment setting team to follow up with those leads. If you would like to see how Conversionly helps other businesses just like yours build appointment setter teams, feel free to click the link in the description. Thank you guys and have a wonderful day.